Ever had a moment where you questioned your own judgment after a heated exchange? Dive into this roller coaster of emotions as one friend grapples with the fallout from a seemingly innocent comment that spiraled out of control. Can a single word change the dynamics of friendship forever? I am a 27-year-old female from Japan who moved to an English-speaking country for university. My friend, a 29-year-old female, is someone I met at university. We became friends after she approached me, curious about my Japanese background. At that time, my English was not very strong, and although she sometimes expressed frustration, we developed a close friendship. However, I soon realized that her affection for Japan was primarily about her love for anime. She often talks in a style reminiscent of anime characters, uses exaggerated facial expressions and hand gestures, and wears cosplay in her daily life. She even considered changing her name to that of her favorite anime character. Although she initially identified as an otaku, she stopped using that term when I explained its negative implications in Japan. While this behavior bothered me initially, I recognized that everyone has their own interests. Recently, she has continued this pattern but has also built impressive collections related to anime. She is planning her first trip to Japan, and I was excited for her. I offered to create a guide that included etiquette, recommended places for food and sightseeing, areas to avoid, emergency contact information, and useful phrases. I even included my parents' address because they had offered to host her during her stay. When I presented the document to her, she rolled her eyes and dismissed it as boring. She expressed that she expected insider knowledge about anime tours and claimed she did not need to learn any Japanese, stating it was unnecessary because Japanese people are respectful and will speak English. Despite my previous explanations that many Japanese people do not speak English fluently and that the language spoken in anime is often not natural, she remained convinced everyone would understand her. She disregarded the etiquette information, claiming it was irrelevant because tourists are common. She then shared a vague outline of her trip, which focused solely on anime, lacking any cultural or historical elements. While I understand I may sound harsh, I felt embarrassed for her. In a moment of frustration, I told her that she had no respect for Japanese culture, and that her perspective was limited to the overly sexualized and simplified portrayals she sees in anime. I warned her that she would likely be disappointed when she realized others would view her as just another otaku. She became very upset and has not been speaking to me since. I regret my harsh words and feel terrible for the effort I put into the guide, only for it to be dismissed. Am I in the wrong for my reaction? Your actions don't make you a jerk. It sounds like your friend is really just fetishizing Japanese culture through her obsession with anime, and that's a pretty shallow way to appreciate a country. Reducing an entire nation to stereotypes is not only disrespectful, but it also shows a lack of understanding and respect for the rich culture and history that Japan has to offer. It's frustrating when someone claims to love your country, but only engages with it through a narrow lens. Honestly, she seems more interested in a fantasy than in connecting with you as a person, which is pretty disheartening. Maybe it's time for her to face the reality of her obsession on her own. It might be best to step back and let her deal with the consequences of her ignorance. Good luck, OP. In the next story, we dive into a hilarious and slightly outrageous dilemma that has left one pet owner questioning their choices. When a love interest takes issue with a dog's unsavory drinking habit, the stakes rise and relationships hang in the balance. Can a simple act of doggy behavior truly jeopardize romance? Let's find out. I rescued a Shepadoodle approximately 12 years ago from an Amish farm where he was abused and neglected. At the time of his rescue, he weighed 45 pounds, and he currently weighs 115 pounds. He is perfectly healthy, and my veterinarian recently referred to him as an oldie but goodie, as he is almost 13 years old. Due to the abuse he endured, he suffered from seizures caused by traumatic brain injury and has some lasting trauma. One specific form of abuse involved causing harm to him when he attempted to eat or drink. As a result, he only drinks in private, and his favorite spot is the toilet. I have tried various methods, including placing a bowl of water in the bathroom, but my dog, whom I affectionately call Benny, refuses to drink from anything else. I have had to take him to the veterinarian multiple times for dehydration. Eventually, my veterinarian advised, if it's between Benny dying and drinking out of the toilet, let him drink out of the toilet. Just keep it clean. My father, who does not particularly like dogs, constructed a bathroom in our basement exclusively for Benny. This bathroom is not intended for him to relieve himself, but rather to provide a designated space for him to drink. No human is allowed to use it for any reason, as we have 2 other bathrooms available for that purpose. We are all content, and most importantly, Benny is happy and healthy. As for my personal life, I identify as almost aromantic. While I appreciate the idea of romance, I do not wish to be inconvenienced by a relationship. I enjoy intimacy and am considered a unicorn, meaning I do not require a relationship. Occasionally I experience a fleeting desire to explore dating, but I quickly remember why I prefer being single. Recently, I made the decision to see what was out there. A few months ago, I met a man who seemed fun, and we began to date loosely. One day he was at my place, and we were in the basement when he noticed Benny sneaking into the bathroom. He then entered the bathroom and began yelling at my dog. We never yell at Benny. I told him to stop, and he responded, The dog is drinking out of the toilet. It's disgusting, I replied. So is yelling at a traumatized animal. That is his bathroom, and no one else uses it, he insisted. It's still a toilet. Given that I do not prioritize relationships, I told him to leave, and that this was not working out. He became upset, claiming that I was choosing my dog over him. I affirmed, yes, I will always choose my dog over you. He yelled so loudly that Benny appeared distressed, and even my father yelled down to ask if I needed help. The man eventually left angrily. Since then, I have received mysterious messages accusing me of being in the wrong for prioritizing my dog over someone I had known for only 6 weeks, and for allowing him to drink from the toilet, which is Benny's designated toilet. So am I the antagonist for choosing my dog's health over a random person? Am I wrong for letting my dog drink from his personal toilet? Benny Taxe, Kayamgur.com, AGNFL3. Honestly, the level of craziness from that guy is off the charts. Not only was choosing Benny a good call, but with the way he acted, even a toilet would have been a better option. I mean, who cares if the dog drinks from the toilet? It's not uncommon for shepherds to do that, and let's be real, dogs do way grosser things all the time. The guy was clearly a total asshat for sending those harassing texts over something so trivial. Benny definitely helped dodge a major bullet there. And if the toilet's clean, it's not like it's a big deal anyway. Just think of the toilet as an expensive water fountain, perfectly fine for a dog to drink from. In the next story, we dive into a family feud that's sparked by the pressure of private school. When a cousin's carefree attitude clashes with the weight of parental expectations, tensions rise and secrets are revealed. Join us as we explore the complexities of family dynamics and the quest for personal freedom. I am a 14-year-old female who will be entering high school next year. I live in an area where I automatically qualify for a good public high school nearby, and I always assumed I would attend there. However, this past summer, my family decided that I would go to an all-girls Catholic high school in a nearby suburb. Their reasons for this decision are valid. There are fewer students, more advanced placement classes, and better scholarship opportunities. The students at that school are generally more well-behaved because the school does not accept anyone with behavioral issues on their records. While I recognize that it is a good school, I do not want to attend for several reasons. First, I know many people going to my public high school and some who are already there. I also have a preference for many of the classes offered at my public high school. To be honest, the idea of attending an all-girls Catholic school makes me uncomfortable. I have expressed my feelings to my parents and grandparents multiple times, but they do not seem to care. They insist that it is not my choice, and that their opinions are the only ones that matter since I am a minor. I stopped bringing up my concerns because it often led to intense arguments with my family. I decided it wasn't worth it, especially since I know they believe this is what is best for me, and they do not have malicious intent. Last week I was speaking with my cousin, who is 18 years old and with whom I am close friends. I mentioned that I would not be able to continue studying the language I am currently learning. He asked why, and I explained that my new high school does not offer that language. He rolled his eyes and said that I should not attend that school. I responded by saying that it is not my choice at all, and it is very frustrating. My grandmother overheard this conversation and later scolded me, saying that we are spending a significant amount of money for me to attend this school, and that my lack of enthusiasm is disrespectful. I understand her perspective, but it bothers me because it is my life, and I feel as though no one is listening to me or cares about my feelings. I was not even complaining to her, I was simply talking to my cousin. Am I the only one at fault in this situation? It's totally understandable that the family thinks they're doing what's best, but it's not fair to expect someone to just go along with their plans without voicing their thoughts. A lot of kids prefer the local public high school for various reasons, and wanting to stay at home is a pretty common sentiment. Honestly, if the school doesn't accept kids with behavior issues, maybe it's time to get a few on that file just to make a point. The frustration is totally valid, and handling disappointment is a tough skill to master. It's clear that wanting to have a say in such a big decision doesn't make someone the bad guy. So yeah, you definitely did the right thing here. In the next story, we dive into a spicy family feud that all started with a simple condiment bottle. When one sibling decides to take matters into their own hands, tensions rise and unexpected drama unfolds. Tune in as we explore the messy aftermath and find out whether they really are the a-hole in this saucy saga. I am 24 years old and my brother is 20 years old. We live together in our childhood home as roommates, and we pay rent. Recently, an incident occurred that sparked an issue between us. My brother was making a sandwich in the kitchen when I saw him finish spreading peanut butter. He then stuck the knife into his mouth to lick it clean before putting it into the jelly, and there was still peanut butter on the knife. I found this quite unappealing. My main concern is something my brother has mentioned before. He has herpes. I do not know the specifics, but he has indicated in the past that he has it around his mouth, and it can only be contracted through oral contact. When I saw him lick the knife, I immediately called it out, expressing my concern by saying, "Dude, you just licked the knife and stuck it in the jelly." He responded jokingly, saying, "What? It's not like you're going to get sick." Even though we buy our own groceries, we have never established a rule against sharing condiments and other food items. I decided to let it go since it was already too late. A few weeks later, I bought a mini fridge for myself, thinking it would be great to have snacks and sandwiches at night without leaving my bed. The day after the peanut butter and jelly incident, I noticed that the mayonnaise jar had mustard inside, indicating that the knife used to scoop it out was never cleaned. So I decided to buy my own squirt bottles of mayonnaise and mustard to avoid any potential issues. The other night, while cooking hot dogs, my brother asked where I got the mayonnaise and mustard. I explained that I bought my own condiments because of what happened with the peanut butter. He insisted, "Dude, you're not going to get sick from me." I reminded him about the incident, exaggerating my reaction for emphasis. He seemed offended and became quiet, responding with phrases like "whatever" and "it doesn't matter." Now I wonder if I was being inconsiderate. I start to think that my brother might feel like I am treating him as if he is a biohazard. He does not seem bothered by the situation at the moment, but I am questioning whether I am being selfish or immature in my approach. So Reddit, what is your opinion? Am I in the wrong? You did nothing wrong here. Double dipping is just straight up gross. It's like if someone asked, "Is it okay if I spit on your food?" Because that's basically what they're doing. Plus, mediums like mayonnaise are prime breeding grounds for bacteria. So who wants that? Imagine finding Vegemite in your honey. Talk about a culinary nightmare. Keeping food separate is totally reasonable. If you think you'll feel insecure about it, just explain that double dipping gives you the same ick as the word moist does for some people. Seriously, everyone has their food boundaries, and they deserve to be respected. In the next story, we dive into a heated debate that unfolds when one boyfriend reaches his breaking point with his girlfriend's best friend. Tired of being reduced to a mere source of free meals, he confronts her about the disrespectful label that's putting a strain on his relationship. Get ready for a twisty tale of boundaries, expectations, and the true cost of friendship. My girlfriend, who is 20 years old, and I, who am 25 years old, are both top university students. We have a friend, who I will call Sam, who often distracts my girlfriend during lectures. Sam tends to talk incessantly, making it difficult for either of us to concentrate. Throughout an entire semester, she played Genshin Impact in class. During exams, she repeatedly asked my girlfriend for help with her tests, despite my warnings to not assist her, as I did not want either of them to face expulsion for cheating. Sam also disrupted my girlfriend and my Easter celebration, as well as our 3-month anniversary. Whenever the three of us are together, Sam dominates the conversation, and my girlfriend seems to ignore me, making me feel invisible. Initially, the three of us had a 4-person group chat, but Sam created a new group chat that excluded me. Since that time, my girlfriend has been growing more distant. At one point, Sam openly told my girlfriend in front of me that I am just the guy who gets her free food. This comment infuriated me and made me feel worthless, especially during a time when my relationship with my girlfriend was already strained. I began to feel as though I meant nothing to her. I spoke with Sam about how angry I was at her comment and how it was affecting our relationship and my self-esteem. I do not want to blame her for all of my issues, but I wish she would be more aware of the situation. In response, she told me to cut the crap, accused me of always disliking her, and subsequently blocked me. As a result, things between my girlfriend and me have been negatively impacted, and I feel guilty about it. I worry that I have been too harsh on Sam by giving her death stares for the past few weeks. I recognize that she is my girlfriend's best friend, and although I do not like her, I feel that my feelings of disdain have been too evident, and I am struggling with insecurity. I regret having such a strong reaction to the comment and allowing someone like Sam to damage my relationship. It's pretty clear that this relationship isn't serving you well. Your girlfriend has chosen to keep Sam around, which shows her priorities lie elsewhere. Being the guy who just gets her free food isn't a great role to play, especially when it's obvious you're on the outside looking in. It's time to read the room and acknowledge that a breakup might be the healthiest option for you. You don't need to justify your decision. Simply tell her you think it's best to part ways. Ending it calmly can help avoid any unnecessary drama, allowing both of you to move on without bitterness. Self-respect matters, and you deserve better than being someone else's emotional support while they keep a third wheel around. In the next story, we dive into a holiday dilemma that's stirring up some serious family drama. Picture this, a Christmas card collage that brings joy, but also unexpected tensions when it comes to sharing the spotlight with little ones. Get ready to explore the complexities of family expectations and the quest for holiday harmony. I am a 44-year-old female who cannot have children but has a special relationship with several babies, specifically my brother's 42-year-old male child and my cousin's children, who are 32-year-old female, 37-year-old female, and 37-year-old female, all born in the same year. I am much closer to my cousins and their spouses than to my brother and his wife. I hope that we could connect more through our shared love of his 1-year-old daughter. However, my sister-in-law has an all-or-nothing mentality and insists that I must prioritize her daughter above all others. While it is true that my niece is the closest to me genetically, I feel that all the babies hold a special place in my heart. Before printing a Christmas card with dogs on the front and babies on the back, I asked permission from the mothers to use a picture of me with a baby for a collage. I did not explain much beyond the fact that it was for a collage, and no one inquired further. My cousins all replied positively, indicating it would be an honor. My sister-in-law responded affirmatively. When my brother received the card, he expressed anger about not having given permission. Since his wife seemed to be in charge and everyone else was excited, I did not think to ask the fathers for permission as well. Next time, I might choose not to include my niece altogether, but perhaps I should ask my cousin's spouses too, for clarity. My sister-in-law verbally attacked my elderly parents, who were not involved with the card and were shocked by her behavior. When my mother went to check on her, thinking there was a misunderstanding, she handed my sister-in-law a gift, which my sister-in-law threw across the room. My father reported that he thought she was joking when she called, as her behavior was extremely aggressive. The real issue arose when my sister-in-law, who had not even seen the card yet, falsely claimed that I did not have permission to use a picture of my niece. I would like to point out that she has a public social media page featuring her baby's full name and pictures. She even entered a Baby Twilby contest, exposing the picture to millions of strangers, and is now threatening to sue me for including the picture of my niece. There were a total of 5 pictures on the card, which was sent only to family in a quantity of 12. A website sent a notice stating that I needed to order something or they would archive my pictures, which prompted me to put the card together quickly. Everyone loved it. Once her lie was exposed, my sister-in-law altered her stance, stating that I had permission to use the picture, but only if it featured just her baby. She claimed she was unaware that other babies would also be included, which she considers materially different. So, am I the antagonist for including my niece and not explicitly stating in permission I obtained that it included other babies? Thank you in advance for your thoughts. It really makes you wonder if permission was ever asked before putting those babies on a Christmas card. I mean, it's one thing to share a cute pic with friends and family, but putting it on a card that goes out to everyone without telling the parents? That feels a bit off. It's all about respect, right? It would be good to check in with the parents first so they know their kids' faces are being shared like that. It just seems like common courtesy to keep everyone in the loop. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.